when we feel part of the group. And this is, I used to go climbing also, like rocks. And there you understand how you have to think us and not I want to go this way. But if, at my time they still climbed with ropes, not like without ropes. So if you're hanging everybody at the same rope, there's no way you can go and, then you have this feeling of being one entity, a part of one entity. Everybody is hanging on that rope. And maybe, similar, maybe army is a similar kind of situation. Not so much fun, but same thing, when you have to forget about what you want and you have to become part of a group, you function quite well. Don't think we can't function anymore. We function much better than when we kind of want to go our own way. Yeah? Okay. So, yeah?
Sometimes we feel like we come not as separate. We like trying to come with the feeling of togetherness, or with the feeling of seeing the other and being with him and coming with love. And in spite of that, it can be a partner, it can be children that is very angry, and the other side does not want, reject
yeah, of course.
The
same way as we reject.
To be
same way as we reject people who want to like us and we don't allow them. We also do that, isn't it? That's the worst. For me, this is the worst thing. When somebody likes me and I have this kind of feeling towards them, I feel terrible, because I feel how I hurt them. It's very hurtful to do that. But sometimes it's needed. There's no point putting on an act and doing as if, lovey-dovey and all this, and then at one point then you explode because it's not true. So if they don't want your love, then that's it. You say, okay, there's plenty of others. That's okay.
Even sometimes children, when they are very angry, and you want to come to them and like bring love to them, and they reject. They want to stay in their anger.
Yeah, same as the depression, as we said, it's addictive. These emotions are addictive because we feel at home with them. We feel something, and people say, I want to find myself, I want to be somebody. The biggest we are is in these very strong emotions, because we're afraid of the quietness and the peace of a totally open heart. And we also know, we're not using love and compassion in order to manipulate others. If they don't want it, they don't want it, and that's it. The main thing is that you keep your heart open, and then we see for ourselves how quickly we close up when they don't want it. You can just stay there very patiently with an open heart. I know parents, they had children who were suffering so much, going into drugs, rejecting the parents, doing everything that one shouldn't do. And both of them are Buddhists. Both parents are Buddhists. And they just loved their children, finished, without interfering too much, but always being there when they needed them. Yeah? Like really giving up what they wanted. Now both of the kids are grown up, they became beautiful people. Really beautiful people, like the young one who always said, like the little one now, he's very tall, that, all of a sudden he starts to study psychology, because it was always before it was, you with your stupid Buddhism, can't you be normal like everybody else in the world? As a kid, you don't want to have Buddhist parents, One had a Buddhist mother, also in the same village. He said, I want to get baptized. Because he wanted to belong somewhere. He didn't want to be the Buddhist kid. He did Dafka. If he wouldn't be Buddhist, I wouldn't want to be baptized. But because you are Buddhist, I need to be. That's how he put rebel his parents. But one, all of a sudden, because of studying psychology, all of a sudden, he got into these MBSR. All of a sudden, he started to see, hey, they talk like my dad. Yeah? So they started to discuss with each other. All of a sudden there was this connection, the same interest, and then he participated in experiments at the university, and he had a scholarship, but he left. He said, these university professors, they don't meditate themselves. They don't work on their mind. I don't want to work with them. He left, he went to India, he did a Kopan course, now he's doing yoga course to become a yoga teacher. And the girl who was very much into drugs, she became a nurse. All of a sudden, also, she to a Buddhist center to volunteer.
She's still into drugs, but from a different place. She's still into drugs, but from a very different place.
She's still into
Drugs.
Yeah, and she was looking after drug addicts in the street, actually. That was her, when she finished her education, that's what she decided to do. But now she's, she goes to, she's independent and she goes to different homes. Like she goes to people at home. And at the moment she's traveling around with Jan Rinpoche and she's cooking for him. Somebody who rejected the thing so much. So never give up with this. Keep your heart open. They will feel it at one point. Maybe not immediately, because also, as I'm saying, we're not using love and compassion in order to manipulate others. That's not what we do. They feel it, they receive it, fantastic. They don't, they will at one point. Yeah. Okay, so what is a person? Now we have 5 more minutes to do that. A person is what is called made up of the 5 aggregates, or they say a person is the label or the name attributed to these 5 heaps or aggregates. Aggregates means 5 parts.
מצרפים.
Did you hear what the other said?
מצרפים.
Mitzrafim.
Doesn't help.
Huh?
It doesn't help.
Doesn't help?
Because there's no such word in Hebrew. Collections of names.
We can make words. We can invent words. Again, words are, Wittgenstein. Yeah, words are inventions. And then all of a sudden we all agree and then it becomes that. Yeah. All of a sudden, selfie. I mean, 50 years ago, who would have understood selfie? Now everybody knows selfies immediately. Yeah. All these things, and then you label it and it becomes that. So, but the selfie is not that. The selfie is depending on camera, face, and the word selfie. Then it becomes a selfie. Okay, so it's the form. That is the first heap or the first part of what a person is. The body. The form. So also, if you don't understand this totally, then it's good to know, because in Buddhism, if you continue with Buddhism, one talks a lot about these 5 aggregates. Okay. So then next one is sensations or feelings. Sensation is a better word. There's 3 kinds of sensations or feelings. We think, oh, there's so many feelings. There's 3 kinds. It's very simple. Pleasant, unpleasant, neutral. If you want, you can multiply them by 2, because they're sensations of either body or mind. Then you have 2 like pleasant body sensation, pleasant mental sensation, unpleasant body sensations, unpleasant mental sensations, and neutral body sensations. When it's neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Like me, if I go like this with my hands, it is neither pleasant nor unpleasant. It's just there is a sensation when I have my hands here with it, whereas the knee is starting to become unpleasant. So like that. The head is pleasant. Form, sensations, discrimination. And discrimination doesn't mean I discriminate this to be bad. It means, in German, Unterscheidungskraft. Means the power to see differences.
מה זה?
מה זה?
לא, באנגלית.
הבחנה.
הבחנה. Anyway, we need to give it a definition, which is the power to see or understand in the mind that this is different from this. So sensations and discrimination, I keep calling it discrimination, yeah? It's not like discriminating somebody, it's like seeing the difference. So sensations and discriminations, they are singled out, they're taking out from these other, what is called 51 mental factors. So we have a consciousness who recognizes its object. Inside outside of that consciousness, you have what is called mental factors who all have a job. Yeah? They all have a function. So we don't have time to go through them. But this is the fourth aggregate, which is just called compositional factors. All the rest of our, maybe in psychology we will call it emotional world, but it's not just emotions, because it's also contact, it's also mental engagement, it's also endurance, it's also flexibility, it's also aggression, it is also love and compassion and all this. Yeah? So some of these mental factors are needed, they're always present in order to perceive something. Some mental factors, then they make the mind either positive or negative, or like, constructive or destructive. Some are neutral and so on. But they each have a job. It's a whole teaching on that. And then we have what's called the consciousness. The consciousness of those, we talked about it a little bit this morning, there are 6 consciousnesses. The consciousness, like eye consciousness, recognizes form, shape and color. Ear consciousness recognizes sound. Nose consciousness recognizes smell. Tongue consciousness recognizes taste. Body consciousness recognizes touch. And the mental consciousness for us, unrealized beings, cannot function directly. It functions through thoughts. When we perceive something, we have a perception of shape and color. And then we have a very short moment where the mental consciousness also engages and takes it, but then zup, the thoughts come in. And the thoughts are our good, bad, the experiences we had with this thing in the future and in the past and all this. For somebody who meditates, and I say, what is this? What would you say? What is this? Huh?
Tibetan bowl.
Yeah, Tibetan, like a singing bowl is usually called. Yeah. For somebody who smokes, it's an ashtray. Yeah, for somebody who needs to drink something, it becomes a cup. Yeah. So all this is learned. All this is labeled. Okay, so that is the mental consciousness who for us works through concepts. And the moment we put a concept, that's the problem about concepts. Concepts are very good for us to learn how to function, but concepts make the thing permanent. Because a thought does not change by itself, moment by moment. The bowl changes, but my thinking about the bowl, or the label that I put on the bowl, then I freeze the bowl into being permanent, and when it breaks, I'm disappointed. Yeah, you would think these things don't break, but they do. Because the one we had in Bern, all of a sudden it didn't give off sound anymore. I don't know what happened to it.
Let us go broke yesterday. Let us go broke yesterday. He said, it's metal, how did it break?
Yeah, exactly.
He just told us
So
today.
we have the wrong concept that metals don't break. So this is what a person is. And these 5 aggregates, they work together. They're depending on each other. Yeah? Why sensation and discrimination is being singled out? Because this is what is keeping us in samsara. Because the sensations, pleasant and unpleasant, then the knowing the difference from them, then with our ignorance or with our wrong views, we start at wanting the pleasant ones and not wanting the unpleasant ones, and that is keeping us in samsara. Okay. So these are the 5 aggregates. So anyway, now we finished, but we can start tomorrow. We can start in the meditation to go through these 5 aggregates separately to look, am I the body? Am I the sensation? Am I the discrimination? Am I the other mental factors? Am I the consciousness? And that's all we are. That's nothing more than you can attribute to a person. That's all we are. Everything is there. Then if we can't find, we can't say, because if we say that the eye is findable, it has to be findable in the parts. This is what we do tomorrow. If it exists, you have to find it in the parts or separate from the parts. There's no other mode of existence. So that's what we do tomorrow. Yeah? And then slowly, it will still appear. It will still appear. It will still appear. We'll still believe in it. But slowly, the very strong belief that it's true disappears because we can't find it anymore. It's like when you look for your passport or for something, in all your drawers and in all your bags, and you can't find it anywhere. It takes a while for you to accept that you can't find it. And this feeling of me or I, we've been carrying that with us since beginningless lifetimes. So to let go of it, it will take time. And it will not just take time, it will need a mind who is totally able to focus on that absence of I. So see, when we look for the pen in the meditation, we are not looking for a conventionally existing pen. We're not looking how does the pen exist. We're looking for a real pen, a pen that can stand by its own, without its parts, without a mind that labels pen. That's what we're looking for. And all we come up with, no, it's not that. No, it's not that. No, it's not that. No, it's not that. Until we have exhausted every possibility. Then we stay on that feeling of not there, on that lack of pen, of real pen in the pen, or that lack of real I in these 5 parts that a human being is. If you want to make it more simple, you can just say human being, mind, and consciousness. But I think it's good to divide the consciousness also a bit. That thing that perceives, then the emotions, the thoughts, and all that. Yeah. So we can also do everything you think you are. You go and look there and really think, when you're angry, you think, am I this angry? And then you look, what happens? We think we are the anger when we're not looking. The moment you look, something else appears. When we don't look, yes, we are the anger. And it would be terrible if you would be the anger. It could never change. It could never change. You could only be anger, or you could only be love. You cannot be both, because both at the same time is also not possible. Yeah? They are contradicting. So existence and non-existence is contradicting, but it depends on each other. That's another thing that makes it really complicated. Yeah? In order to have existence, you need to have non-existence. But we think existence can stand itself. In order to have true, you need false. But this is difficult to understand. In order to have long, you need short. This we understand. But the same goes for existence and non-existence. And for us, we can only have these 2 things. Either it exists or it does not exist. But there's something which is neither, is a merely labeled existence. It exists, it functions, but it doesn't exist from its own side. It is empty of existing, being able to stand, exist under its own power, without needing anything else. It appears like this. When we hear this, of course nothing exists like this, we go, yeah? But the problem is it appears like this. And for that, then you need reflection, and you need to see. And in this book here, there is so many reflections, that you can, in a very skillful way, it tells you what kind of thoughts to think, how to observe, how to do these reflections. Very simple. I mean, they're simple. This is why we don't understand, because they are so simple. Yeah? They're not easy. It's not easy to understand because our habit of seeing things in a certain way is so strong. Our belief that what we see is true. When we say, I need to see it in order to believe it. Okay? So you can take now your merely labeled I to your home, which also doesn't exist from its own side. It came together through many causes and conditions. And now we have a very nice evening, which also, nice or not nice, is depending on how you perceive it. So that we can all meet again tomorrow, maybe not, maybe come in, maybe not, in a very happy way. So in general, in order to familiarize the mind with this, one dedicates. So one dedicates like this. May the I, who doesn't exist from its own side, attain full awakening, who does not exist from its own side, in order to lead all sentient beings who don't exist from their own side to that state. by myself alone. And we all realize our potential to have limitless love, limitless compassion, limitless wisdom by seeing that we don't have it because we keep hanging on to this self-existent I. Because we refuse to wake up from the dream of inherent existence. But now at least you heard it. So they say just hearing about these things, even you don't understand anything, is like really tearing the net where we caught in, already, opening up a little bit. Yeah. So you can congratulate yourself that you heard it. That you didn't understand, I would take the blame. That's fine. But maybe something became a bit clearer. Okay. So tomorrow we look at the 4-point analysis. We go through the 5 aggregates and try to see if we find something. Don't leave your ego at home. If it says, no, I'm not coming. It's too dangerous. Don't buy into it. Take it with you. And make friends with your ego. Make friends with it. Even though it doesn't exist, you can still make friends with it. And say, look, you negotiate. You say, okay, I know you want this now. I know you know what, okay? And we do that. We do that spontaneously sometimes. So you see, we think we have one eye, but then we have an intelligent eye talking to the stupid eye. So, who are you? Of course, the intelligent one. Who is the stupid one? I don't know. So neither of them exists. So we do that very spontaneously. So learn to understand your ego. Yeah, learn to understand it and be kind to it. Be kind to yourself. Yeah. Okay. Have a very nice evening. I hope I didn't spoil your day. But there is no evening. You need to say something. Leora needs to say a few things. Please, don't run out.
It's a pleasure.
רק בבקשה להזכיר שמי שמגיע מחר יביא את הכוס, שלא צריך להיכנס דרך השער לתוך הכפר. זהו, נזכיר. ואפשר להשאיר פה את כל החפצים, אז תסתכלו איך אתם משאירים אותם, שיהיה נעים להיכנס בבוקר לגופה הזאת. ואני מזכירה לכם את קושפת הדנה. שבת שלום לכולם.
שבת שלום.